Welcome to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen.
And I'm David Kerr.
And we're going to be looking at topics that are of interest to our community, both regionally and to the state.
Hello, I'm David Kerr, and welcome to Rappahannock Issues. Today, we're doing a special edition. It has to do with the Stafford County Public Schools, and specifically with their finances and with their human resource issues. And I am very fortunate to be joined today by two members of the Stafford County Board of Supervisors. To my right is Wendy Maurer, who is the representative of the Rock Hill District. She's my supervisor. And Wendy is the newest member of the Board of Supervisors. Wendy has a background in financial management. Yep. Wendy is also a small business owner. And she has been on our program before for the Wounded Warrior Cyber Academy. Yep. It's a charity that helps veterans retrain in IT and related security work. And further to my right is Jack Cavalier. Jack and I have known each other since the 1980s. And Jack is now in his fourth term on the Board of Supervisors. It brings a lot of experience to the table, having seen a lot of issues come and go, but also having developed a lot of expertise. He's an engineer, an electrical engineer by profession, retired from the federal government, and now working in various enterprises and devoting a lot of time to the Board of Supervisors. Jack was just reelected in this last election and was also on our show with the debate, as was Wendy. So we're really glad to have you guys back here, not as candidates, but as members of the board talking about the Stafford County Schools financial situation. Now, I don't want this to be me talking, but I want to get in a little bit of perspective here. Stafford County Schools have had a rough year. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And to kind of get, when I say that, I know but the both of you are talking about the idea, which is progressively getting more momentum, and that's the idea of bringing together various functions of the county and both the schools and the county itself into one organization. Financial services, human resources, perhaps even facilities.
Yes.
And so why is there an emphasis in this area now? Why are Stafford County Schools coming under the gun, as it were? I just want to kind of review the issues, put things in perspective, issues of the day, as Ed Murrow used to say. And one I'll start with, which was actually an issue during the campaign, was what we might call the missing $8.3 million. Got to the end of the construction of the budget. We were in the budget year, and the Stafford County Schools found $8.3 million. And there's a subsequent forensic audit to look into that. I know the Board of Supervisors is holding that money at the moment.
Yes.
Can you tell me, one, your personal reaction to it, and then why the Stafford County Board of Supervisors is holding on to that money? Why not to give it back to the schools? What's your concern?
Well, first, they didn't find the $8.3 million. One thing I used to work for Stafford County in the finance department many years ago, more than a decade ago, and was very concerned about the way that they were doing the budget. They were utilizing Lotus 123 and Word, and
Isn't Lotus a vintage 1980s, early 90s program?
It is. And actually, this last year, when they found the 8.3
It's not really accounting software, is it?
No, it's not. And it's not even really an efficient utilization of spreadsheets. So they had been using this even 10 years ago, back when I used to work in the finance department. And then they were screenshotting it and putting it into Word. So if they changed a number in the Lotus spreadsheet, and they didn't change it in the Word document, then the numbers wouldn't tie. And so 10 years ago, I would take a 10 key to the budget, and the columns going down and the rows going across did not add up. They didn't tie, which is just basic accounting 101. And
folks, I was not on the school board back then. It was before my time.
So, and I did do as part of, so I was working on cost-cutting revenue-generating projects, special projects, and one of them that I worked on was looking at shared services. So I did a look across the different, corresponding jurisdictions that were of similar size as ours, and actually we came up with, we could save $1 million or more by doing shared services in finance and accounting and whatnot. So this isn't new. Shared services isn't new. This was something I was passionate about more than a decade ago, and fortunately now, and it's had butts and starts, I guess. And so we just did, prior to my getting on the board, while Jack was there, they just completed the health benefits consolidation. And so they're moving in that direction, but right now the finances is extremely critical, because as they're looking more and more at how they've been handling their finances for years, we're realizing that it's just not efficient. And what they were doing was, because you had one person focused on the budget, she was moving money around and essentially kind of giving special favors to people.
Wendy, what bothered me, and this was an issue that came up when the school board decided to look into exactly how they found their $8.3 billion, they did a forensic audit, which, for lack of a better word, is an investigation.
Yes.
And I find it very disingenuous that you could blame the entire issue on one employee. Jack and I have worked, and you have, in large organizations, and it takes our management culture at some level to accept this, because it was still a process. I mean, it's still a way of doing business. Jack, do you see a management issue here?
Well, there were some inherent problems that we had previously discussed with the school board, and for several years. And the fact that the way they built their budget each and every year was based upon previous year's budget, without looking at actuals.
Oh, I see.
That, combined with the fact that the HR department there apparently did not sync up the loss of the older teachers with the gaining of the new teachers, therefore having an overall reduction in cost, because the younger teachers don't make the kind of money that the older teachers who had retired were making. So that was something that we really harped on that, and yet it was disregarded. So I think that's the primary reason, and I would like to commend the new superintendent, Benson, for finding this out and discovering this issue and bringing it to our attention, because that is really, now we can move forward. We can go forward with these shared services ideas, and we can move in the right direction, whereas the money that the taxpayers contribute.
Oh, we've got a really hot topic here, so we want you to hang on and come right back after the break.